Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. So I'm going to show my hand a little bit. I do enjoy fine watchmaking more than most other styles. And I don't think anyone does that better at scale than Patek Philippe, a brand I admire deeply. This watch is emblematic of that in almost every way, from design to its deference to history to the engineering inherent in the movements. It's a watch that offers a lot of value, far beyond the simple price. And it's why I think Patek Philippe complicated dress watches are the best pre-owned value among Patek watches available today. So this is the 5370P-011, the original 5370 in platinum with a black enamel dial. That debuted in 2015. It was replaced in 2020 by this. This is the 5370P-011, which has a blue Grand Faux enamel dial, which is deeply impressive because dark enamel is much harder to achieve in a fashion that is seamlessly glossy, clear, and evenly surfaced. Much more difficult to achieve than the more common white enamel. So the watch is platinum, and with only a few small white exceptions. I'll show you that white gold in a moment. This is a platinum watch that's 41 millimeters in diameter. You can see in profile 14 millimeters thick, 49.8 millimeters from lug to lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, and it reminds you it is a modern day platinum Patek because of the top Vesselton diamond brilliant cut and situated between the lugs. Possibly the least controversial use of a diamond on a man's watch in the modern era. Now you can see on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, we're sort of exploring the limit of what's possible. I can wear this well, and I would wear this well, but if your wrist is any smaller than mine, seriously consider this size, because at almost 50 millimeters lug to lug, you could see that the lugs are at the edge of my wrist. I'm pulling the strap a little tight because it's not broken and it's still very stiff, but you can see that those lugs are at the edge of my wrist. Not over, but they are right on the cusp. And I think when lugs overlap the edge of the wrist, that's when a watch is too big. So 16 centimeters circumference and up, you're good to go. It is not a thin watch, though. With the slope of the bezel and the shape of the bezel, you do actually have a watch that'll fit underneath most long sleeves, including shirts. The strap's high grade, lovely, gloss blue, sort of a cobalt blue. Maybe one could say aged ultramarine with a gloss finish, large symmetrical rectangular scale alligator leather, usually from the gator's belly. That's a fairly rare and expensive cut. You can see in profile we've got a folded edge, we've got a monotone stitch calfskin on the bottom, and it is a Patek Philippe factory strap. We have their pull tab spring bars, so you can pop the strap off with your fingernail and no tool necessary. We have a clasp, which, good on you, Patek, is platinum to match a platinum watch, and that's an important thing. There are quite a few platinum watches these days that have white gold clasps, especially the folding mechanical part of the clasp. Externally, the Calatrava Cross, that's the logo of the manufacturer. Taking a look at the profile now, I mentioned white gold on this watch. The hands and the numerals on the dial are white golds. They won't tarnish or oxidize. But these little cabochons at the end of the lugs, those are also white gold for a very subtle tonal contrast. You can see that the flanks are relieved and then brushed internally to create these channels that run end to end, and the rest is ultra white platinum. I mentioned that the blue enamel is difficult to achieve. Patek now does this in-house, which is quite a feat. The base, as is almost always the case with the best enamel, is a gold dial disc. On top of that gold, glass paint, that is vitreous paint, is applied and fired up to 20 times at over 800 degrees Celsius. And if you look very careful, particularly right next to the numerals, you could see that there is ever so slight an orange peel texture to this, because this is glass enamel. This is not lacquer. Lacquer in any color can be made mirror straight. Enamel always has a little bit of a roughness to it that comes down to the source material, the granules of glass used to create that vitreous paint. That's a beautiful detail, but one that you really need to look closely to observe, a testament to how well Patek now does enamel. That's, by the way, what email means. People ask, is this a smartwatch? No, that is enamel en français. Breguet style numerals, a lovely and evocative style on a Patek Philippe. It almost always signifies an important watch. Don't miss this, guys. We've got hacking seconds. Folks often forget that most modern in-house Patek calibers do have that feature. This is a coaxial split second. So you can see when I press the coax trigger, one of those two hand-formed seconds hands will stop, and I can quickly catch it back up again. But this is to time things that are occurring concurrently, such as two runners around the track or race cars around a course, and you can gauge whether that gap is waxing or waning. Now, of course, you can always stop it in its entirety. By the way, note that a minor detail, the rolled end of these hands, it's actually done on a tiny rolling pin so that when viewed head-on, there's no apparent curvature to the hand. In order to do that, you actually have to roll them and curve them at their tip. Now, there is a little bit of luminescence on this dial, which might come as a surprise, but let's take a look at it now. You can see those leaf or feuille style hands are loomed. And then we have a characteristic of the 29-535 movements, which is that the registers themselves, they're slightly below the level of the cannon pinion. Tachymetric scale outboard, you can use it with the chronograph to gauge the speed of an object. Again, such as a race car around a course, or if you're gauging something much slower, remember your mental decimals. All this is 30 meters water resistance, so dress watch water resistance. Turn it all over, and you can see we've got a movement that is beautiful. I often dispute, and in many cases would outright refute, claims that Lange chronograph movements are more beautiful. I think more people have it in their head that those are more beautiful, but when you see something like this, you realize that Patek Philippe is easily playing in that league. And that's both aesthetically and mechanically. Looking at the movement, you can see we have the column wheel and the assembly for the rattrapant, which is over here. You can see that right there. And then we have the primary column wheel, which is black polished and capped, and the lateral clutch right there. And that's actually pretty important to note because this capped style is a Geneva trope, and the original idea, as with most finishing, it had a functional purpose. On a pocket watch chronograph or an early chronograph in the wristwatch era, shock would not cause the levers and the horns of the chronograph system to jump out of the crenellated towers of the column wheel, and so that's where the cap started. Now, of course, it's used to gild the lily, being that it is mirror polished. We have a 4 hertz beat rate. We have 34 pivot joules, 6 position adjusted balance, and it uses an overcoil hairspring, not a silicone hairspring. At Patek Philippe, the watches considered more elite and harder to work on are lateral clutches and metal hairsprings. And so you must have a higher internal certification as a Patek Philippe watchmaker to work on those kinds of movements. The overcoil allows isochronous operation in different physical positions. The lateral clutch is here for the simple reason that it is more beautiful than a vertical clutch. Now, taking a quick look at the remainder here, you can see that it's a fairly large movement that nicely fills this case back. It does have a 65-hour manual wind power reserve, and I can show you the system at center that has the little pincers that'll stop the split seconds hand. What I can't show you is that there's a decoupling mechanism built in, which is something that Patek and Lange use. You can see the lateral clutch in action here. But the decoupler ensures that when you do stop that second hand, when you freeze it in place, it doesn't cause the whole movement to slow down. The decoupler prevents the system from dragging and causing the watch to lose time. And again, this is something that most notably Lange and Patek put on their splits, but the vast majority of rattrapant manufacturers do not. You can also see that there's an instantaneous jumper for the chronograph minutes display, which is always appreciated, and that the decoration here, I could wax lyrical, but there's nothing I could tell you that your eyes can't discern. It's as good as anybody. And I would include super high-end chronographs by the likes of Sylvain Pinot and Lang & Heine on that list. This is world-class stuff. And it's a split, and it's a rare model, as this variant was discontinued along with all the 5370s in 2025. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.